Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reviews Huddle. I'm Rob Toder, Executive Editor of the Alliance Review, and joined as always by Mike Brown, Sports Editor of the Review. And believe it or not, we're in week 3 of the high school football season already as the calendar turns to September. Today we're going to take a look back at week 2 games. And Mike, the first one we're going to talk about is one we really looked forward to, and it didn't really materialize into the close game that we thought. St. Thomas looked really impressive, and they defeated Minerva 34-6.
Right. St. Tom has a great defense. They have a lot of kids coming back from their playoff team from last year, and so far through 2 games, St. Tom's given up 6 points. That is a good football team that's probably steaming toward the playoffs again this year.
Yeah, they've got a nice running attack. It's the perfect recipe, I guess. You control the ball on the ground, and you play defense. The old saying, if you don't give up any points, you can't lose, and they're proving that through 2 weeks.
Absolutely. They've got a nice running game and a good defense, and if you have those 2 elements, you can win a lot of football games.
Okay. The other game that we looked at was Marlington. They kind of struggled a little bit offensively in their first game against Poland back in week 1, but went up to Crestwood and got a big win and improved to 2-0.
And the Dukes are for real. That's, like I said last week, that's a good football team with a great defense and an explosive, dynamic player in DeMonte Thomas, and I think they'll do a lot of things this fall. I think that they've got a good chance to be a playoff team and a good one.
Yeah, and that brings us to coming up, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in the week, but Arlington and St. Thomas, and really probably the game of the week in Stark County.
Absolutely. Those are, boy, I can't wait for that matchup. That's the great offensive running back and DeMonte Thomas against that immovable defense for St. Thomas Aquinas, so that should be a great matchup.
Yeah. A couple other games last week, West Branch in a shootout. It didn't look good early for the Warriors, but they really bounced back, and I know their coaching staff was pleased with the way they showed up in the second half of that game against New Philadelphia. The Quakers won that game 49-45, but Troy James ran for 4 touchdowns, and the Warriors really showed themselves well last week.
Yeah, I know you never look at a loss as a confidence builder, but I think the West Branch coaching staff looked at that, especially the way they played in the second half and came back from a big deficit, took the lead, and just wasn't quite enough at the end. But I think they're going to try and take that and build upon some things. And the other thing people forget, West Branch's first 3 opponents are 6-0. And they are a quality football team, so they're not playing any Sisters of the Poor. They're playing some really good football teams right now.
Sebring took a tough one on the chin, 8-0 against Southington. But Josh Herford threw for 145 yards, so some positive things there. And Alliance played a little bit better on defense, but still came up a little bit short against Canfield. They're 0-2. And, of course, they had some injury issues as well in that game. So Alliance goes to Ellet this week, but Canfield's a good quality opponent.
They are, and Alliance came back, and then again, like the West Branch situation, I think Alliance can take some things from that game because Alliance was down 3 scores early, scored the last 2 touchdowns of the game to make it a good game, and I think they can build on that this week as they get ready for Ellet.
So after 2 weeks, we've only got 2 undefeated teams left, and they're going to play each other Friday night. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We want to remind everybody, make sure you check out the Reviews Saturday edition. We'll have coverage of all the big games in the area every week. And also this week starting is the Pigskin Picks. You can play online for that or pick up a copy of the review, and you can win some great prizes participating in that contest as well. So we'll be back later in the week, and we'll talk about games coming up.